Hey everyone, this is the DJI Air 3, and it's the best mid-range drone I've flown this year, full stop. But let me explain why. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've put about 40 flights and 12 hours of footage on this thing, and the first thing that jumps out is the new dual camera setup. You get a 24mm wide angle and a 70mm medium tele that actually zooms in without swapping lenses. I used the tele on a recent hike to frame a waterfall from 120 feet away without losing detail, and the wide for sweeping establishing shots. The 48MP stills are crisp enough to print a 16 by 20 without scaling, which is more than I expected from a 1-inch sensor. Flight time is the headline everyone talks about, and it's legit. I'm averaging 42 minutes with the prop guards on and the wind at 8 miles per hour. That extra 6 minutes over the Air 2S adds up when you're chasing golden hour light. The 6-antenna OcuSync system keeps the link solid even when I'm flying behind a ridge, no dropouts in the 2.4 GHz or 5.8 GHz bands. I also like that the Air 3 complies with FAA Remote ID out of the box, so you can fly legally without an extra module. Video quality is where it really impresses me. The 4K per 60 frames per second HDR footage has enough dynamic range to pull shadows back in post without looking muddy. I shot a sunrise over a lake last weekend and the highlights didn't clip even when I pushed the exposure. The dual native ISO keeps noise low in low light, and the D-Cine-like profile gives me a flat profile to grade later. If you're serious about color work, this is the first Air series drone that feels like a real film tool. Obstacle sensing is next level. The omnidirectional setup caught branches I didn't see until the drone stopped itself. I flew through a tight canyon last week, and the Air 3 slowed to a crawl when it detected the walls, giving me time to take manual control if I wanted. It's not as twitchy as the Mini 4 Pro in avoidance mode, so you still feel like you're in control. The DJI RC-N2 controller is familiar but improved. The sticks are slightly shorter, which I like for long shoots, and the built-in screen is bright enough in daylight. Battery life on the controller itself is solid, around 5 hours of mixed use. One quirk I noticed is that the DJI Fly app is no longer pre-installed on the controller because of platform compatibility, so you'll need to sideload it or use your phone. It's a small hassle, but once it's set up you won't notice. Build quality feels premium. The arms fold neatly, the gimbal cover is included, and the weight is still under 700 grams, so you don't need to register in most places. The gimbal is quieter than the Air 2S, which matters when you're trying to sneak up on wildlife or just keep the peace with neighbors. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. The telephoto is great, but it's only 3 times optical, anything beyond that is digital crop, so don't expect a full super tele. Also, the Air 3 is a bit heavier than the Mini series, so wind tolerance tops out around 23 miles per hour. If you routinely fly in gusty conditions, you might want to pack an extra battery. Overall, the Air 3 is the sweet spot for photographers and filmmakers who want pro-level results without the bulk of the Inspire series. It's easy to pack, flies confidently, and the image quality is noticeably better than the Air 2S. If you're on the fence between this and a Mini 4 Pro, ask yourself whether you need the telephoto and the extra flight time. If the answer is yes, the Air 3 is the better pick. Link is below if you want to grab one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. For most buyers, the real question is not whether DJI Air 3, DJI RC-N2, drone with medium tele and wide-angle dual primary cameras, 46-minute max flight time, omnidirectional obstacle sensing, 48MP photos, 4K per 60 frames per second HDR. Compliance with FAA Remote ID sounds impressive on paper, but whether strengths like DJI Air 3's dual cameras offer creative, and DJI Air 3 complies with the FAA Remote ID rule. Please actually make daily use feel easier, more dependable, and more worthwhile after the first few days of excitement wear off.